If you remember big trips to packed malls, running around Toys R Us every week, a new must-have holiday trending toy every year, and those iconic Christmas commercials that aired every 10 minutes,
he does exist!
They do exist.
Then you lived through Christmas in the 2000s, and if you did, you know it hit different. Because more than any other holiday, Christmas didn't just happen in the 2000s. Christmas was the king of making every day of its season a mini event as soon as Black Friday was over. No matter what you were doing or where you were, to the joy and sometimes detriment of people everywhere. There was no easy online shopping. If you wanted something, your parents had to enter the retail war zone. Toys R Us, KB Toys, and malls could get so packed that they felt like mosh pits. If you wanted to watch holiday movies, you needed the DVD or you had to catch them exactly when they aired on TBS or ABC Family or wherever else they were airing, unless you were trying to watch Christmas Story during that 24-hour marathon.
24 Hours of a Christmas Story will return in a moment on TNT.
And if you wanted that toy of the season, good luck. Scarcity was real, and every parent became a full-time toy hunter, because there was always that one toy of the year that everyone wanted. While that's a big part of Christmas's then and now differences, there are a lot of others, like things being a lot more personalized now. Some even opposite of being able to opt out as you can nowadays. Like Christmas popping up even earlier and consuming stores as early as late September, becoming more consumer and corporate than ever. Anyways, today we're taking a look back at Christmas in the 2000s, and if you enjoy these cultural look backs, please feel free to like and subscribe and help me hit my 10K subscriber goal. Now let's get into it right after this. Other than checking the calendar, the big sign that the holiday season had touched down was sometimes literally a big sign. I'm talking about the Christmas ads that were everywhere back then. It always started with a Christmas catalog for my siblings and me. On the day we'd check the mail and see the one for Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, and KB Toys, it was time to cut everything out for the day because we were booked with looking at all the stuff we wanted for the holiday. While the catalog would set the tone, nothing quite touched the feeling of seeing those magical Christmas ads on TV every year. This was already an era when commercials had to fight to keep you from changing the channel, so you know they were working overtime to actually become holiday traditions in themselves. And you know exactly which commercials I'm talking about. The Hershey's Bell commercial, the Now That's Christmas CD ads, the Campbell's Soup commercial, the good non-AI Coca-Cola one, and a lot more. And you know the brands were hitting unreal levels of product placement. Barbie, Bratz, Lego, Hot Wheels, and every video game console on the market were all fighting for a spot in your brain. It felt like Black Friday and a fraction of its deals bled right into Christmas back then, turning the entire season into a non-stop consumer event. You could argue that today's holiday ads are still like this and they still show up on TVs, streaming services, and even YouTube. But the point is that the content is curated and skippable now. Back in the 2000s, there was no skip ad button. There was no algorithm separating us into personalized content feeds. We all saw the same thing at the same time, and those ads became communal moments. It didn't matter where you saw them or where you were. Those adverts were an unskippable piece of shared culture. That's the real trick that these 2000s commercials pulled off. They weren't just selling a product, they were selling a shared tradition. All the ads I brought up weren't just ads, they were cultural touchstones. And that's actually why we still go back and watch them now. But back then, we weren't just watching ads to watch ads, because the holiday season gave you a reason to tune into just about any channel you could think of. There were tons of ways to celebrate Christmas on TV, from Food Network's multiple competitive baking shows to HGTV's Christmas Across America special. But no channel would have the house locked in all day like ABC Family's 25 Days of Christmas. Starting December 1st until Christmas, ABC Family would play non-stop Christmas and season-adjacent specials, movies, and originals. This was peak holiday for any household that loved it and didn't mind hearing how the Grinch stole Christmas in the background a few times a day. Funny enough, this still exists on Freeform, but it's not the same when every Christmas special and movie is already available on demand via Disney Plus at a lower price point. Back then, the point wasn't being able to watch it whenever. The point was that it was on right now. Now, if you were a kid when you weren't with the family, it was all about Nickmas, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network, holiday pretty much. Lots of great shows. We got so much.
And their bumpers and tons of different specials. They even had Ben 10, a show that takes place during the summer, pump out a Christmas special somehow. But there was nothing that hit like Nick's old holiday crossover shorts. All this was great, but we have to agree that the most memorable special was when X-Play would go over the must-have holiday games of the season. Okay, seriously, let me get for real. That was great, but the real specials of the season were Charlie Brown, Frosty, Rudolph, all of the other reindeer, the classic Grinch, and the rest of the Ronkin' and Bow specials that were must-watches every year. I don't think there was a house celebrating the holiday that wouldn't let at least one of these rock. And even if you weren't home, holiday radio was huge back then. Before we could just stream what we wanted, it was at least one station's job to bring the spirit to the car. And for me and my family, it was Delilah, an old radio host that had a part-time mini talk show, part-time Christmas music show. But it was the most relaxing, most Christmas thing I ever listened to. And my family had it on every time we were out on a December night. And even if you weren't a Christmas music person, you hear sleigh bells and jingles regardless in the form of ads on other channels. I remember once we hit the 2010s, some years it would be a struggle to find the Christmas station on the radio. But in the 2000s, you weren't allowed to avoid holiday media because it was literally everywhere. While the catalogs and TV ads were the seasoning, the real 2000s Christmas experience came with the shopping. This was the one time of the year when it felt like everyone ended up in the same few places at the same time. And nowhere felt like more of a cultural flashpoint than the mall and the toy stores. When it came time to tell my parents exactly what I wanted, along with going on the net to ask them for stuff like I did those black and white NECA Ninja Turtles that go for crazy amounts now, and yes, they got them for me, we'd go straight to my favorite stores ever, Toys R Us and KB Toys. Sometimes even quick stops at Walmart and Target toy aisles when they were a lot smaller. It was like we'd go on weekly visits just to look, and every 5 minutes during those visits I would be saying, I want that for Christmas. The memories of this are so intoxicating. The sound of the demo kiosks, carts, talking dolls, yellowish lighting, the smell of plastic. I remember one year I was so excited to see all those Mega Man X and Godzilla toys at KB Toys. And my parents had me sit in the car so they could sneak and get them for me. I think you can tell from those two loves that I was never a really viral toy kid. Unless it came to a game console, Bionicle, Beyblade, or like Spider Sapien. But those viral toys would go crazy every Christmas. It felt like after Tickle Me Elmo and Furby, every company was trying to find the formula to make parents go to war during the holiday. Bratz, Razor scooters, Cars movie toys, and the previously named Beyblades, Bionicle, and Robo Sapiens went nuts on the shelves and were the last true viral holiday toys that went crazy because of kids, before the rest went all electronic and digital, like the case of the Wii, 360, PS3, Guitar Hero, and Apple products. And when gifts went digital, the pilgrimage just shifted from the toy store to the electronics section. For those times, the arena would become Best Buy in Circuit City, and the console launch days looked like Black Friday wars spilled over into December, full of parents rushing and praying that they'll find that last minute Christmas gift. But sometimes the shopping just wasn't about an objective like toys or consoles. Sometimes it was secondary to the feeling of the Christmas vibe or taking pictures with Santa at the mall. I swear, back then when malls were alive and legit destinations, no Christmas season was complete without a trip to them. And man, they were packed during the holidays. You stepped through the spinning door and you instantly got hit with that sensory overload. The smell of Cinnabon mixing with the holiday scents from Bath & Body Works, and sometimes an actual tree in the middle of it all. Maybe a little stink from the old mall fountains. Every store would add to that holiday feeling, whether it was due to the crowds of the shopping families, decor, or just the fact that they were selling stuff that kids wanted. Hot Topic, FYE, GameStop, KB Toys, Spencer's, you know the ones. The mall was the physical embodiment of the unskippable holiday media that we just talked about. Christmas in the 2000s would be the start of a lot of the traditions that we still hold now becoming popular. Tacky things like inflatable decorations, fiber optic Christmas trees, and those weird dancing trees that creep me out could be found anywhere. But coming out of that decade into one full of minimalist aesthetics, online shopping, and streaming would subdue a lot of what made the season for people around at the time. In the 2000s, everyone saw the same handful of iconic commercials, the same mall decorations, the same store catalogs, and the same movie marathons on the same channels. Like I said, today everything is personalized, annoyingly so at times. You need to subscribe to 8 different streaming services just to watch your favorite Christmas specials. If you can find them on those at all, like the case of Rudolph. Your algorithm will feed you a unique, curated Christmas experience, which means there's no cultural unity anymore. The moment we got the convenience of ordering everything on Amazon and toys going totally digital, the magic was starting to die. The physical scarcity of viral toys sucked in the moment, but you know every parent that went through it will always fondly tell stories to their kid about what they went through to get that Nintendo Wii, and every kid appreciates them even more for it. Heck, some of you told me that exact story in comments on my other videos. Now the only products like this are due to the adults driving up the scarcity, like Labubu's, new consoles, and trading cards. And that makes you realize that the physical places that fueled the magic are mostly gone. KB Toys is dead, Toys R Us is a shell of what it was. Walking into these stores wasn't just about buying stuff. We actually got to play before we bought. Even my dad loved trips to Toys R Us as an adult. These places were full of excitement with demo kiosks and shelves overflowing with toys to discover and play with. Now kids don't even walk into the store to discover some new life-changing toy. They scroll past it in seconds to a personalized ad or get it pushed at them by some streamer. And that transition is why we've seen the end of the must-have toy of the year. Today what kids really want is digital. Robux, Fortnite skins, gift cards, PCs, or the latest iPad. Many will argue that this is all nostalgia, but things really are different now, even beyond all this. Starting in the 2010s, mainline retailers began putting out their Christmas merch as early as September. To some, that extra early start takes away some of the magic and dulls it through a dilution practice dubbed Christmas creep. Ultimately, Christmas in the 2000s hit so hard for a ton of reasons, but that's not to say Christmas is any less fire now. It just means that the magic is different. Truly, it's up to you to keep that spirit going. I know I'll never be a Christmas sucks now kind of guy, cause me and my family just keep the same vibe we had in the 2000s and probably will till it's over. And you should do the same. But how do you feel about Christmas back then versus now? Did I miss anything that was big back then that you think I should have mentioned? I know one of them is the book fairs that would happen at the end of the school year before the winter break, cause I used to be eating in those. But I'd love to hear it all and anything else that resonated with you here below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and please have a good one and a happy holiday. Thank you so much for watching.